Good evening, everyone, and I am back once again. But this time I'm not by myself for this one, but to welcome back to BC WrestlePod, specifically the Flannel Fighters post show, where we break down all things MLP or Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for the full acronym. Of course, my name is Mikey El Jefe of BC WrestlePod, and tonight I am joined by my co-host who has been a important staple into the last week of things that have gone on since Thursday, since last week. Mr. Benny is in here, and yeah, I'm excited to talk this one with you, friend.
So this was a great show. I'm happy to be here. Greetings and salutations. Let's rock and roll.
Alrighty. So we're just gonna jump straight into everything because you have heard me repeat myself the last week of all the stuff we got going on. Where you can find us live, our social medias at BC WrestlePod, merch, all that good stuff. The reason I say all that is because we have consumed a lot of wrestling this past week, and the light is at the end of the tunnel. We are almost at the end of it, but I am excited to talk about this one. So, of course, not only was GCW doing their collective shows, but the Palms decided to get up in on the action by hosting their Slam Fest two-night event, or 2-day event, I should say, which included shows from TJBW, Stardom, Maple Leaf Pro, CMLL. There's a lot of stuff that happened. House of Glory also had a show as part of that as well. So much wrestling.
Yeah, Dragon Gate had one too, and that show ruled.
There's so much wrestling. So if you are looking for something to wash out the disappointment that was WWE WrestleMania for the whole weekend, there was a plethora of other stuff to watch. And I should know, I did a lot. We did live watch alongs for night one and night two of WrestleMania. Love the talent. It was boring. Like night one was god awful. Night two did a lot better. That ladder match is going to forever be one of my fave things that happened in that 2 night card. Anywho, but we are here to talk about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling's Multiverse. And yes, you see the title Multiverse, and you're like, oh boy, we're going to have crazy matches up from around the world. And I'm like, yes and no. But honestly, though, this was a really solid show, and I cannot wait to dissect every match that we have. So let's just get into it, right? So there are lots of matches to talk about. There are 7 matches on this card. So let's just jump into it because we kick things off just like my progress show with two of these folks repeating the opener and all of this. But we opened up the show with the tag team match where we see the boys of subculture, which God gotta love Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. They are fantastic. And they took on the team of Guy Cool and Von Vertigo. So I am a little familiar with Vaughn from his different appearances across, my television screen. Also, happen to have seen him maybe once or twice on a little promotion called Mystery Wrestling, um, which is always a lot of fun to see. Um, I'm going to repeat the same thing that I said with the Progress show earlier. Was the opening match, and honestly, for me personally, this was a smooth opener. And again, the funny thing is that in the timeline of things, Subculture were back to back nights after Progress. So they had Progress the previous day in the morning, and then they came here for Multiverse. So I was like, Subculture boys were busy. So bell rings. Mark Andrews starts, overcomes Cool early with athleticism. Gotta love a good poke to the eye though, which cuts him off. Webster comes in, strikes vertical with the double axe handle from the top turnbuckle. But then Cool fires back with the backbreaker. Andrews comes back in, moonsaults onto vertical. Subculture isolate Cool. Falcon Arrow keeps Vaughn out of the equation. Vertigo responds with the shiny wizard on Andrews. Subculture finish Von Vertigo with false pieces. Webster gets the pinfall. This was a functional match. It was a smooth opener. I enjoyed it. Benny, what did you think about this opening match?
This was incredibly fun, especially for an opener. It sort of set the tone for the night. Flash Morgan Webster did a imploding shooting star press, a standing one, no less. And uh, man, that was so impressive. Like Von Vertigo, as you said, like I've seen him around a bunch, and he always puts on a great match. I did enjoy the Y2J style tights that he was wearing. Uh, I thought that was really funny, and uh, one of the sub goes to the guys, like one did a imploding one, as I just said, and then they hit a shooting star press for the win. I was like, hey, all the flips, and there was many more flips to come.
For reals. The subculture boys are definitely like very good hands to have in the ring, and they still are really fun to watch, even for as long as their career has been going. And it's really fun that they get to appear during, this. They appeared at the WrestleMania weekend during like all the independent events last year too. So they're just really fun to have. I love these boys. Uh, I'm just saying, not that like we need more people on this roster, but like AEW or even Ring of Honor. Let's have the subculture boys come and like be a permanent fixture. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And maybe that would convince Danny Luna to go to ROH or AEW because I need her anyways. Anyways, this is a really fun opener, and we keep this momentum going because then we get into our second match of the night. And Benny, we are no strangers to these two. We've been following this rivalry since Defy last year. Like when we saw these two, where so before I get into the match, like if you're wondering to yourself, Stephen Borden, where have I heard that name before in the world of the wrestling like world? And I was just like, well, if you are familiar with the icon himself, Sting, you know that Sting had children, and one of them is in this match. S- so, in our second match of the evening, this is Stephen Borden versus Kyrian Gray. I'm going to repeat myself like what I said when we saw this match. Like for both of them, Kyrian's, well, Stephen Borden's first match, and then also our first real introduction to Kyrian Gray. I love Kyrian's aesthetic. Very creepy, very vibey, but I really love that kind of stuff. And yeah, the history here for us who've been watching this is here. But on one corner you have Sting's son, and then for those of you who don't know, Kieran Gray also trained Darby Allen and also helps out at the Nightmare Factory as well. So Kieran is no slouch. They have had These two have had 4 prior matches together. So at this point, they know each other very well. As far as this match goes, to break it down, Borden quickly gains control with an arm drag. Of course, goes for the Stinger Splash. Love him, but unfortunately misses. Gray usurps the momentum immediately with an elbow drop from him, and then he overwhelms Borden's with a leg sweep. Borden rolls away at the last second to avoid Gray's splash. Borden fires back, lands the Stinger Splash, plants Gray with a double underhook for the win. What I really loved about this match too is that the crowd was chanting "Let's go, Steve" throughout, which means to tell me that this crowd has somewhat of a knowledge of who Stephen Borden is, which we love it. And honestly, this is really fun. These are two guys getting their shot on a very packed weekend card with WrestleMania and all the independent promotions. And honestly, that's kind of sees that, at least from my interpretation, this is exactly what Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is about. Not only like getting really good talent, but they're also starting to build like people who are just getting their shots out too, like Stephen Borden and all that good stuff. So I really like this one. Benny, how did you feel about these two once again on our screen?
um, I think it was the same match we saw Aeon 2. Um, that's not a complaint. I really like both guys. Stephen Borden, you can't deny that kid. You know, like if you've seen Sting without the face paint, you can't deny him. You know, and he even moves like him. Uh, he's got a hell of a drop kick. I'll tell you that. Now here comes the sandwich. Um, Kieran Gray. I'm intrigued, but here's my thing. The structure of this match was clearly Kieran Gray was the Great Muda, and Stephen Borden was the man called Sting, and neither of them are at a stage where they should be doing that at, because Kieran Gray was uh, cheering on the crowd as they were booing him. Like, what are you doing, bud? It's giving you're a little lost, you know. I think he's great. Like I really like his style. Like and I think this match didn't overstay its welcome, which was perfect. They got in, they did what they needed to do, and they got out.
Very fair. And honestly, I agree with you. I was just like, it's kind of the same match that we saw at Aeon 2. Hopefully we get to see more. But hey, you know what? We're beginning of the card. We had the tag team opener. We had this one. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm vibing with Multiverse. Let's see what we have next on the card, right? And then I'm just like,
Loaded.
oh my god. Oh my god. This was insane. This match was insane. I'm like, come through, Black Excellence. So, in our third match, we have a trios match, a six-man tag team match, whatever the interchangeable parts that you want to use. But this was a lot of meat in this ring on one side, and this was a lot of craziness that happened. So this is, of course, is AEW's The Demand, which is Ricochet, and the Gates of Agony, so Toa Leona and Bishop Khan, taking on the team of Rich Homie Swan, Sydney Akeem, who I love Sydney, and the master of the half crab. Now we play Michael Oku. Oku also having a really busy schedule the whole entire weekend as well. Um, yeah, this was crazy. So the demand obviously dominate early in the match. Oku and Akeem break it up with splashes. The baby faces dive simultaneously on three separate sides of the ring, which is a lot of fun. Crowd was into it. Khan gets Swan in the corner. There were some chops. There were some taunts. Leona charges in with shoulder thrusts into Swan's midsection. Oh my god. Oku with that tilt-a-whirl DDT on Ricochet was crazy. Leona coming back in with a massive senton, which made me question if Sydney Akeem's lungs were still functionable. Um, uh, Akeem and Oku working together to kind of take down Leona shins to buy Rich Swan some time. Swan hits a DDT. Honestly, it all goes back and forth until Toa Leona ends it with the senton to pin Sydney Akeem. Um, Toa Leona was just a wrecking ball from start to finish in this match, honestly. And my goodness, this was fun. I had a fun one with this one. Benny, how did you feel about this six-man tag team?
Frog splashes all around, all around frog splashes. I love it. Um, this this match was turning pettiness into chicken salad. Um, there was one point where the demand was in control, and they did a pop up out of the corner by Totally my bad. Not, not the actress. But there was a pop up from out of the corner into an ace cutter uh, that uh, uh, Ricochet then hit a frog splash on, and then like later in the match, like Michael Oku hit a low down frog splash, like D'Lo Brown, and what's his name, Sidney Akeem, did a 5-star frog splash. Like this is so great. Like, they're just going all out. Uh, like just as I expected, you know. And the bouncy guys are just flying off with the big guys. Like this is just exactly what you wanted out of this kind of match, you know.
100%. Uh, Again, a lot of people. Sydney was busy this weekend. Oku was busy. The demand was busy this whole week because they popped up. Everybody here popped up so many different shows. It's insane to me. Um, so this was fun. The demand pick up the victory over Oku, Swan, and Akeem. And yeah, this was really a lot of fun to watch this. So having a great time. And I'm sitting here, I was like, okay, let me see what's next, right? And I'm like, yes, you get one of these too. You get
Woo!
one of these. Good God. Okay. I'm just gonna put this out here right now. Me personally, my match of the night. Oh
Mm.
my God. So listen, I'm a big fan of Etchy Seto. I will always watch him, whether he's in CML and AEW. But when you told me they were like he was going up against not only defending this in for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship, right? But when this card dropped and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's just casually gonna go up against Jonathan Gresham," I'm like, "Oh my God, I got to sit down. I got to prepare myself. Strap in, kids, because this is crazy." This whole entire match, Benny, felt like I was watching a very athletic chess match. Both men throughout this match feeling each other out, trading locks, refusing to give an inch. Gresham like leaning into his coyness by testing Echiseto's patience, unlacing the boot, relacing it, like playing mind games in this whole entire thing, man. Then we got into the graps, and that was solid as hell. Like, we got stiff strikes, we have flying elbows, you surfboard stretch, ankle lots. Gresham at one point hit a Hurricane Rana, like at one point. Like, and then of course Echiseto capitalizes and does the lucha roll up for the win. Um, oh my God, this was a technical spectacle, and I was sat and I need Echiseto and Gresham to continue to fight because this is a fight forever feud that I need in my life. But yeah, this was my personal match of the night. Holy hell. Like from a wrestling technical standpoint, because then the Spot Fest was also a favorite match of the night, but that was for the Spot Fest. This was just pure wrestling. Pure wrestling, my match of the night. Benny, what did you think of Echiseto and Jonathan Gresham for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship?
Oh man, you know what? When the graphic for this dropped, I might have screamed. So I knew what I was in for, and it didn't disappoint. And I love, uh, Jonathan Gresham is a very creative heel. You know, like he's gonna get under your skin whether because he can make you laugh and then go, "Ooh, uh, that little bastard." There was one time where you like done something and the ref was like, "No, knock it off." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and begging off. He's begging off, and then like the ref turns around. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna clock him." So great. And once the shenanigans stopped, like, and then we got into like the chain wrestling. Man, like, honestly, I got like way more notes for this match that I'm never gonna get to. But
Well, let's not put those notes to waste. Like, give me the highlights. Give me the Spark Notes version. Like, what were some of the standouts moments for you in this match?
I really like the see dead air. I can't read it. I think at the same time. Um,
Just all the graps, all the
yeah,
time.
all the graphs, and like all the shenanigans, like usually because I like that the roles were reversed a little bit because Hedge and Sarah is usually uh, the dastardly one, So like to see Jonathan Gresham like one up and one up him in his dastardliness. If that's a word, but um, I was like I think the finish was a little off, but like I'm fine with that because like it's a Gresham match and like much like Brian Danielson, you really never know how it's gonna end.
Hmm.
That's one thing I love about Jonathan Gresham matches, the way he lays out his matches. And it was a
There.
good week for
Mhm.
him. This WrestleMania week, that's for sure.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. And we're not done seeing Gresham because we'll see him this weekend at Mystery Wrestling. So who knows who he gonna wrestle? But
Prepare for more. I was just gonna say, prepare for more shenanigans.
honestly, also sidebar, Dalton Castle on commentary. I'm like, yes. God, I cannot wait.
Party peacock in the house.
Oh my god, please let the Outrunners be there because then I would die happy. I will die happy. Anyways, my match of the night in terms of technical wrestling, like I was just like, yes, continue to fight forever. Let's get like 18,000 matches. We'll never get tired of it. Alrighty. So we go from this technical masterpiece to a bit of a spectacle, if you will. So we get our Sin City Street fight next between Paul Walter Hauser, or Paul Hauser, as he's just going by it now here in MLP, taking on QT Marshall. And for those of us who watch way too much wrestling, might be wondering to yourself, didn't we see this match already? And the answer to that question is yes, you kind of already saw it. Specifically, me and Benny already saw this matchup happen last year at Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor pay per view. And so I don't want to take away from it because I love me a good street fight. You know, QT Marshall, I think, is a good hand to have. Paul Hauser puts in the work. He actually does train for these matches. I'm gonna be honest with you, Benny. I feel like it was a copy and paste, different paint, kind of like what we got from Death Before Dishonor. Some really cool spots. There was some fun. I didn't take this too seriously, but I will say this is probably my least favorite match on this card because of the fact that we kind of ran certain spots back, and I felt like we already saw this back at Death Before Dishonor, where I thought we were done with this feud, but apparently not. Um, I mean, it's a street fight. I'm not expecting it to be a, dramatic uh 5-star classic bar burner. I will say though, with Paul Hauser picking up the win with the Boston Crab, we now have them at 1-1. I'm terrified if we got to do another one to see who ends up winning the feud as the rubber match, but yeah, this was okay. It was serviceable is the nicest way of putting it. But I was like, I already saw this match at Death Before Dishonor. I kind of felt like we saw it again here. But that's just me. Benny, what did you think of Hauser and Marshall in the Sin City street fight?
So I completely agree. This was a fine TV hardcore match with a bunch of blood. Like there was maybe I'm just desensitized to like violence, you know, because of the way wrestling is right now. Um, but nothing here made me go ooh. It was just sort of like, uh huh, cool, yeah, nice. Uh, and that Paul Walter Hauser, like, I really didn't know who he was when he showed up around the scene. I heard that he was in the show The Bear, and that show was not what I was expecting. Crickets, crickets.
Then he was like, "This is a good show," but I was lied to.
Yes, exactly. Uh, I don't really know what else to add to this because you already said it. You already summed it up, my friend.
Very fair. Um, I feel bad for saying this, but I did get a little bit of a chuckle when we accidentally had Paul Walter Hauser almost eat it. Well, he did kind of eat it at the end on his way out, and then he played it off very coyly. I was like, I feel bad for laughing, but that was funny. So,
Yeah, everybody was tripping all over Vegas all night, all week long. You know.
Palms, I love you, but like we gotta figure something out for next year because people were tripping between this and the carpet at the collective where GCW had all their shows. The carpet was the ultimate heel of the entire weekend.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my gosh, the amount of people that I thought were about to eat it and did technically eat it during some parts too. Anyhow, so let's keep this going because we are down to the final two matches in our semi-main event. Bitch, when I tell you, I was already excited when they announced this match, a triple threat for the MLP Women's Canadian Championship. You know, you have Giselle Shaw. This is her eighth title defense, defending this title against, you know, people we love from independent and other places. So Giselle was defending this against, you know, CMLL Amazona and our CMLL Women's World Champion Persephone, and also taking on the ballsy badass herself, Miss Shotzi Blackheart, who congratulations to winning GCW's Clusterfuck 2026, which was, you know, by last eliminating Slade in that crazy match. That was hilarious to watch, by the way. But I watched it in the morning because I was not about to stay up to midnight to watch the whole thing live. Anywho, but to Benny, when I tell you I was already excited, and then they're like, "Oh, guess what, y'all? You wanted a twist, eh? Well, now this is a fatal four-way match." I'm like, "Bitch, excuse me." And then they're like, "Here's your fourth opponent." When I tell you, I may or may not have audibly screamed like a little girl when I saw Killer Kelly come in. I was like, "Ah!" I was like, "Girl, Kelly!" And it's funny too, because I remember having a conversation with you and a couple other people be like, I wonder what Killer Kelly's up to. I miss her in the ring. And then bam, here
Hmm.
she is. I'm like, ah! And then from there, it was just bell rang. These ladies went off. Holy shit. And listen, this match ruled for a big reason, and that's because everyone like got meaningful time, and they were able to showcase what they are really great at. With you know, of course, Persephone bringing the size and power to this match, Shotzi bringing the control of the chaos, Killer Kelly just being nasty and physical, which was really fun. And then Giselle being very methodical throughout, picking her spots, and ultimately that's how she's able to kind of win. She steals the pin to keep her championship. But good God, these four women killed it. Oh my God, I had so much fun watching this. Benny, what did you think of this fatal four way for the MLP Women's Canadian Championship?
I was very pleased to see Killer Kelly. Also, side note: Pro Wrestling Revolver is now on YouTube. So
Yes. Shout
I
out to
believe starting
shout
tomorrow.
out. I'm excited. Shout out to Wrestling Revolver. Shout out to all the talent. I gotta give props to also BDE for making that announcement earlier this week too. I know BDE is signed to TNA, but I like BDE and Wrestling Revolver too. It's gonna be fun. It's like I don't already have enough stuff to watch onto my schedule,
I
but I'm
know,
like, "Eh,"
right?
but it's on YouTube now, so I was like, yes, here we go.
Like, they're always fun. Like, they got a great cast of crew over there, you know. And but getting back to this match, like, Persephone and Killer Kelly had crazy chemistry. I mean, I haven't seen anybody who Persephone hasn't had chemistry with really because she's just sort of like um she's adaptable, you know, even at a young age. Like, but man, that doomsday device, I thought she was dead because all of her body weight landed on her head. You know, like, oh man. And then like there was like a triple down, and then like Killer Kelly just walks around and she's like sniffing people. Yeah, Killer Kelly never change.
God, I love you. I love you, Killer Kelly. Fantastic.
There was there was one other spot that I really liked was where Persephone and Killer Kelly were fighting on the top rope, and Killer Kelly ended up getting Persephone into like a tree of woe, but also like a dragon sleeper. I was like, what? That could that was amazing. Like, man, yeah, this whole match ruled. Like, I really liked the uh Giselle Shaw like picking her spots. Like, she was just like she was out at the beginning and she rolled back in to get the win. Like at the end, they're just she was just like, I'm just gonna let you fight it out. I love that.
And I love it because it plays into Giselle Shaw, who's like being a very smart heel, and she's like, "I'm not gonna like give 110%, but I'm gonna take like a vulture. She gonna come in and swoop in the victory when you least expect it." And she literally
Absolutely.
she pushed off to get the win. She's like, "Move." Oh my goodness, this was such a great match. All four women showed up and showed out. Giselle Shaw is still our Maple Leaf MLP Women's Canadian Champion. Can't wait to see more of her going into the summer, especially because, with Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling getting a television deal, they are going to have it's going to be very interesting. They're taking a kind of like TNA approach where they're going to batch film a lot of stuff. And quote unquote season 1, yes, you heard me correctly. Like during June, they're going to have 2 days of batch tapings and then all through the summer is going to be like a 12 episode season of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. So that's going to be interesting and um we'll see how our schedule goes because we may or may not decide to be like, hey guys, here's episode 1 and 2 real quickly. So talk about what's been developing. We'll see what happens because it's not like we already have enough going on with our lives. But what is a great semi-main event. And I mm, like I'm just gonna leave this here because I'm like, my God, what a you want to talk about you want to talk about a PWG style match. Oh my God. Holy hell. So let me set this up. Main event, right? This was the first match announced for Multiverse. And when this match was announced, Benny, I may or may not have collectively lost my mind. Um, because on one side, you have the Rascals, so Desmond Xavier Zachary Wentz, Myron Reed, and I was just like, "Oh my god, who are they gonna put them up against?" And then they announced to be like, "Oh yeah, just casually, 2/3 of the CMLL Trios champion, and also, with Mistico being the middleweight champion, it's Mistico and Mascara Dorada. Oh, and just we're gonna casually like team them up with Amazing Red. Here you go." I was just like, "Oh my god, I don't know if I'm ready." Oh my god. Benny, when that bell rang, when I tell you them bitches went off, it was 120 miles per hour the whole entire time. Oh my god. Like, you could not blink this match. There were bodies flying, the Rascals working really well with their unique trios offense and tag team offense. Myra Reed pulling fucking cutters out of nowhere, clearing the ring. You had the Luchadors and Amazing Red like doing crazy shit as well. Excuse for my French. I'm gonna curse a lot because this match was, in the words of Gwen Stefani, this was bananas. Bananas. Like, oh my god. I I could not breathe during this match. Like when it was over with Mystico hitting the La Mystica on Myron Reed. Look, if the technical match of the night went to Echisetto and Jonathan Gresham, I'm a good spot fest. I love me a good spot match. Like I'm a spot monkey. This match earns my match of the night of just pure spots and speed and oh my god. This was definitely the send the crowd home happy match, and I was sent home happy watching it from my television screen or my computer screen. I can keep going on, but Benny, I need your input. How did you feel about this main eventing the show, and what you think of the match?
Yeah. Amazing Red is another person who had amazing WrestleMania week, and like, of course, it's Amazing Red, but like what like what he, it sort of comes with the territory. His name is Amazing. Like, uh, but like know this one because I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I think the most that I got was Code Red. Like, but like I completely agree. Like this was a very fun like show type of match. Like this was these like the last four matches, like they just flowed right into another, and like this one was just the icing on the cake, and this was the finale of the fireworks. The finale of the fireworks display. Like everything was firing off. And like as you said, like Myron Reed, hitting cutters out of nowhere, and like I think I saw Mystico like hit like three Hurricane Ranas, like springboard Hurricane Ranas, and I was like, oh, they're just doing everything they can, and this is amazing.
Listen, if anything from this match, right? So I mean, I said it. So Mistico, Mascara Dorada, and Amazing Red beat the Rascals. Uh, this was such a fun main event, but more importantly, Benny, this immediately like this immediately made me think. I'm like, Anthony Khan, send the Rascal Boys to Mexico. Oh my god. Send the boys to
Yeah.
Mexico and have them square up with other CMLL talent. Or better yet, there's a certain pay-per-view happening in June that I don't know is called Forbidden Door. Could you imagine, like, obviously they wouldn't win, or who knows, maybe they would to get them more to Mexico go. But I'm like imagining it, like, could you imagine the CMLL trios champions of Místico, Máscara Dorada, and Neon to take on the Rascals for the titles? Like, oh my god, that would just give them 20 minutes. Like, no, even give me the 15 and just let them just fly across my screen for 15 whole minutes. I would be happy. Do it, Antonio. We're in California, and just do it.
Second.
But honestly, just send the Rascal Boys to Mexico. Period. Like, oh my god,
I
this
could,
was such a great main event.
what a special night, man. Like, I honestly I had a lot of fun with this one. And after a long week of wrestling, like I sort of like dove into this one like Monday morning, you know, or Monday, and I was like, I was just sort of like, oh, dragging my feet, and then like I looked at the card right before, because like there's so much going on that you almost forget the card, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, yeah, no, I'm in. Like, let's do this,
I think it is, and this is just me saying this, right? So, in its second year of being, revitalizing the promotion, with Scott Demore revitalizing MLP, which was a federation and a promotion that already existed back in the day, but has kind of like paused its operation. In the second year of like bringing it back for the modern wrestling fans, I was just like, in a short amount of time, if we're going to put on stuff like this for multiverse, I'm like, yes, please. Like, you have like, and again, because of the working relationship that all these companies that Slamfest have with each other, like, so MLP is working with AEW and CMLL, and then we have working relationships with Stardom and New Japan, and I'm just like, we are building up to some really fun stuff, right? And I for one cannot wait, especially going into the summer with Forbidden Door. CMLL has their Fantastica Mania at Arena Mexico happening in June, where they're going to be bringing the New Japan talent and Stardom talent for matches in Mexico as well. And if that is the case, then I'm just waiting for Tony Khan to figure out, like, hey, when are we going back to Mexico this summer for a Grand Slam Mexico? Because that shit was great last year, and I just wanted no, but back to multiverse. This was such a fun, like, literally multiverse of madness type of matches. Like, we got the beginning of the card was cool. Like, I enjoyed it, but then once we got towards the middle and to the end, like Edgy Settle and Jonathan Gresham, the fatal four way for the women's Canadian championship, the main event, just giving off pure PWG vibes. Like, oh my god, like, this is what multiverse is supposed to be. Let's grab wrestlers from different promotions and just put on a banger of a night. This was so fun. I think of all of the Slamfest shows that I watched for that were part of the Palm Slamfest this year. I think this was probably my favorite. Like, honestly, it was just pure fun, and it's just like, "Hey, let's just have fun matches," and that's exactly what Multiverse was. And again, I'm looking forward to a serialized Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, what that season 1 looks like when we get it in the summer, so I'm excited to see how that goes down.
Yeah, I'm really glad that it is pretty clear that Scott Demore still has the multiverse trademark, and I'm
Mhm.
glad that he took it with him when he left TNA. And I'm just glad that MLP's around, because um, they seem to be like a super indie in the north, up in Canada. You know?
Right, and, like, honestly, with this, since we started covering in its inception last year, like, this is a big chance for MLP to be like to get that spotlight on a lot of. I mean, Mystery Wrestling does that a little bit, but MLP has a chance to like spotlight some really great Canadian talent for the world to see. Like, I know they grab people from other promotions to be a part of the shows, but like, they got some really good solid talent that's there, like, strictly for MLP. Like, I'm really behind, like, Sheldon Jean and, Brett Banks. Like, we're building up something really fun, and then, of course, you have Giselle as the women's champion. Stu Grayson is the men's one for, I'm just like, my God, I'm so excited to see a spotlight shine on Canadian wrestling. Like, oh my God. Because I feel like Canadian wrestling doesn't get talked a lot about in the modern era outside of like your Bret Harts and other Canadian talent of the years yonder. So I'm excited for MLP to spotlight and showcase like what Canadian wrestling looks like in 2026. So
Yeah, I completely agree. And one person actually I had to look into my notes, and one person I really like up there is uh, Raja. Uh,
oh my gosh, he's such a good heel. I love him.
so great, and his ballet. Uh, she can generate a lot. Really piss a lot of people off. I'm I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Oh my goodness. And unless there's another show, we'll be back in the summer to start if we can figure out how to get access to it. Will be seeing if we can cover like the season 1 of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling when they tape it in June. So I'm excited to see all that. But that's gonna be it for us here tonight at Flannel Fighters. And even though there's a TNA post show tomorrow, this officially marks the end of BC WrestlePod Hell Week 2026. So we have within the last week, we have done a lot from watch alongs to post shows to my fingers hurting with all the report cards that we uploaded over this whole entire week of all the independent shows. Um, I before we sign off for the evening, because now I'm gonna make this immortalized on the internet forever. I would like to thank my team who held it down with me for this year's Hell Week. So I would like to give a special shout out to my other podcasting hosts, part of BC Wrestle Pod, which includes Andrew, Kilt, and Jesse, and of course Benny, who is joining me here this evening as well. Those four held it down with me for the watch alongs, whether they were part of the indie wrestling crew or they trudged through WrestleMania with me. And in the terms of Jesse, he still was able to stay up late and cover Stardom to prepare for All Star Grand Queendom coming up shortly, too. So that's going to be fun as well. But then, of course, I got to give a shout out to our other podcasting friends out there, Nick and his lovely wife, Nikki, of the Nick Wrestling Happy Hour podcast, and Matt and Sean of If We Had the Pencil podcast for not only allowing me to pop into their shows leading into the weekend, but they also popped in and Matt and Sean like stuck around both nights to watch WrestleMania with us. And so it was a hoot and a holler. And it was one of the best times I've had so far this year. So I got to give a shout out to my podcasting friends and to my co-hosts and my podcasters here at B WrestlePod who held it down. Without them, none of this would have been possible. And I am a man with integrity to say that if had I not been for them, I don't think this year would have been as successful. So they're gonna get a nice thank you card in the mail from me in the next couple of weeks because honestly, they gave me some of the best times that I've had so far this year, and I look forward to seeing what the rest of the year, takes us. So, but that's gonna wrap it up for here tonight. Now that I've done my emotional gushing for the evening, me and Benny got to get up on out of here so we can chisme after the show. But from all of us here to you at home, you know, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. I'll be back tomorrow for the TNA post show, and we are finally kind of getting back to our regular scheduled programming. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.